So a key focus in student learning is asking them to be reflective students and to understand their learning and know where they're at so that they can give you that information to guide your teaching in the future. But allowing students to do that is one thing, enabling them to do it is another. I found it was really important to give my students some really strong, structured practice at how to reflect. What I had to do was use some tools to really enable my students to be able to think critically and reflectively around certain aspects of their learning and particular areas of their learning. And that's where I came across tagging resources, and that's where I started to implement some tagging to allow students to focus on what subject area were they looking at, what was the content descriptor or the purpose or the context of the subject, and then how did they feel when they were doing that, because the emotion is really important aspect to include, because often it gets overlooked how a student felt about doing an activity, but you'd be surprised what they come up with when they've tagged it and they said it was challenging. And then the next time they do a similar activity, they tag it and they said they were really proud. Well, let's have a look at the difference. What is the difference here? Why is your understanding or why is your emotion around this topic changed? And I also thought that it was really important for my students to be reflective practitioners around their work. So I included a fourth dimension to the tag, which was their work ethic. Once my students began tagging in paper form, I thought it would be great to be able to collate that data and access it really quickly and easily. And the online tool that I'm currently using to do that is OneNote, and that's with the guide that we're moving to Evernote here at our school. So by allowing my students to reflect in OneNote, they can reflect on what they have done, they can tag it with their various levels of tags, and then I can quickly and easily search for tags. So I could search for all of the posts relating to maths. I can search for assessment, I can search for all of the tasks that my students were happy whilst completing. I can search for a student, I can search for everything to do with Jim, and all of his work will come up for me. So by allowing students to tag their work and to record their work in a digital platform, it expands the classroom from being within the confines of my four walls to being easily accessible at home. So by incorporating Solo into our digital portfolios, the students can easily, using their hand gestures and signals, explain to themselves and each other their understanding of a concept or an idea. We did light last term. Somebody said to me, oh, my understanding of light is nothing, I know nothing. So I had students doing various symbols telling me what their understanding was of light, and straight away I could see, all right, everyone in the class is sitting around about one thing. They know a couple of things about light, but they can't really make any connections, and they certainly can't apply that information beyond that original context. I have found Solo has been able to allow my students to not only give themselves the language to explain what they're doing and where they're at in their learning, but it also gives them a place to go, and that's fantastic. So if I am here and I know nothing about this, well, I know that I would like to move to a relational phase, and that means that when I'm relational, I might be identifying things. Okay, so I need to be able to identify different parts of this concept or different parts of this topic, and giving them a goal and giving them somewhere to work to and giving them the language